Hi class, it was really exciting to see all of your logos come in this past weekend. I think there's a lot of great logos in there. The difficulty for you now is going to be choosing one of those logos that you feel is the best. And you can take the advice of your classmates who've now left comments, but I also suggest that you go look at the final logo design assignment in Blackboard. If you click on it, you can actually view the rubric. And the rubric will discuss how you're being graded, which isn't necessary. I'm not necessarily saying that you need to pick a logo based on how you're being graded, but what you're being graded on are things like the design elements and the design principles and color and typography. And so these are ways of assessing a design to see if the design is appropriate or could be improved. So I would suggest opening that rubric and going through those, looking at the type. What type elements work the best for your logo? What has the most tone, gives the most personality that that matches your brand? What logo has the best use of color? What logo has the best use of shape? That kind of stuff. So narrow down to one logo, and then you're going to create two alternative ideas for a letterhead and two alternative ideas for social media icons. And normally I would want you to do a lot more than that, but we're getting kind of out of time with spring break coming up, so I'm only going to have you do two. If you want to do more than two, feel free, go for it. It's only going to help you. But you only need to do two at minimum. So you're going to do, I would probably start with the letterhead. You're going to go to you're going to use Indesign for the letterhead. You're going to go to File, New, Document, and you're just going to make a regular print document. You can do 2 pages in here if you want, so that you have 2 different letterhead ideas right in one document. And you're going to hit OK. And the challenge here is to take some of those elements from your logo and bring them into your letterhead. So I'm going to show you a logo that belongs to an organization I've done some work with. Okay, the organization is called Veg Fund, and these are their logos. I didn't create the logo. I create other assets for this organization. Somebody else created the logo, and I was just provided with, if it will ever pop up, different versions of the logo. Full color version, a logo in black and white. Okay, let's look at the JPEGs. So yeah, here they are. So different versions of the logo, horizontal, vertical. They're sort of almost like the responsive ones that we looked at, where you would use the logo differently in different cases. So let's go ahead and open one of these and take a look at it in Illustrator. Okay, so I've got the logo open in Illustrator. And so what you want to do is look at the design elements that you've used in your logo and figure out how you're going to turn that into a letterhead. And I highly suggest that you go look at some letterhead examples. There are some in the Design Inspiration tab on Blackboard. And what I'm thinking is I'm seeing these really flowy shapes. We have a person holding a leaf. Everything's really flowy. So a lot of letterheads have lines or blocks of color, but I'm going to go for sort of this more flowy shape. So I'm actually just going to copy this leaf and I'm going to paste it onto my InDesign document. And I'm going to use this to make sort of a flowy shape across the bottom. And it's way too bright. So I'm going to bring the transparency down even more. Okay, so if I press W, I can see what this looks like on the page, and it's a little too wavy for my liking, so I'm going to stretch this out a little bit and make the wave a little bit less. But I like that. It's got kind of the roundness of the leaf from the logo, but it's not too eye-catching. It kind of recedes into the background. And then I'm going to grab the logo and going to get that on there, and I'm thinking maybe just put it here in the center. Let me get my grids and guides going. Layout, margins, and columns. I'm going to give it 5 because that's going to help me line this here up right in the center. There we go. And then there's certain elements that I need to add to this. I need to have the phone number. I need to have the address. I need to have the website. So my next step, that's way too big. This stuff should all be pretty small. My next step is to kind of choose a typeface that goes along with this organization's logo. and figure out what this is going to look like. I think it'd be kind of nice if it was really spaced out like this. And actually, I don't think the website should be that small. I think the website should be its own thing in the same font as the logo. And I can pull colors from the logo, so I can use my eyedropper to pull colors. I can put this maybe up here. So this is what I'm gonna do for the letterhead. This is how I'm gonna approach it. I'm just going to kind of go to my logo, figure out how I can use elements of my logo, the colors, the typefaces, the shapes, to make a letterhead that has a lot of empty space for a press release or a thank you note, but also shows that it goes along with this brand. Even if you took this element away, it still kind of looks like a veg fund piece. You don't need the logo to know that it goes with the brand because it's using the design elements. And then what I'll do down here in the second one is just come up with a completely different way of doing it. So instead of putting a swoop at the bottom, I'll find something else. Instead of putting the logo right in the middle, maybe I'll put the logo up in the corner. And then I'm going to do the same thing for social media. For social media, I'm going to go into Illustrator. I'm going to click New. I'm going to make the profile web. I'm going to give it a width of 612 and a height of 612, and I'm going to create 2 artboards. And just like I did in InDesign, I'm going to start making these social media icons. Now keep in mind that these media icons are going to be really big on your screen. If you zoom out to about here, that's really the size they're going to be on a lot of things. So you should kind of zoom in and out like this and make sure that what you're designing can be seen when it's very, very small, but also makes sense when it's large. And again, 2 completely different alternatives of what the social media icons for this brand might look like. I look forward to seeing your designs. If you have any questions, let me know.